Hello everyone, my name is Janessa Sen and I would like to welcome you to my final presentation for SennEDET 650 Internship in Educational Technology. I completed my internship with the Columbia Fire Department's Recruit School. Columbia Fire Department newly adopted an accelerated program that lasts 12 weeks instead of the traditional 16. Because of this, the instructors, who are also firefighters for Columbia Fire Department, are struggling with how to balance the required hands-on training that the recruits receive with the necessary classroom instruction of basic foundational skills. This led to my proposal of creating online technology-based training tutorials that the recruits view prior to the beginning of the recruit class, thus creating a flipped learning environment. As a result, the instructors will be able to maximize their hands-on training while the recruits are at the training grounds. Jacob Eller accepted my proposal and stood as my on-site mentor. I followed the ADDIE framework throughout my internship. The first step of the ADDIE process is analysis. In order to determine the content of my training tutorials, 6 of the instructors identified 3 areas that would work in a flipped learning environment. The options were knots, ventilation, and tools. I created a needs assessment that allowed the recruits to select the topic with which they felt they needed the most assistance. I also asked them if they would be willing to spend their personal time outside of class learning the material. Also, since the training tutorials would be accessible through YouTube, I asked the recruits whether or not they would have reliable access to a personal electronic device. The results of the needs assessment confirmed that 88% of the recruits need help tying knots, 100% were willing to learn material outside of the class, and 100% have access to a reliable personal electronic device. From here, I began designing my training tutorials using a storyboard. I gathered images, documented video footage, determined the narration, and selected various text features that would be used in my final product. Each of the 9 tutorials followed through the same formatting. First was an introductory slide, followed with a video demonstration of tying the knot. Next, a step-by-step image of tying the knot, and finally the video demonstration would play again at the end of each tutorial. Developing the training tutorials was one of my favorite parts. I really enjoyed putting all of the images together with the video demonstrations and creating the tutorial itself. I used iMovie to create the tutorials and then uploaded them onto YouTube and shared them with my mentor. Implementing the video tutorials was easy. My mentor shared the tutorials with the recruits. Unfortunately, since the accelerated recruit class had already started 2 weeks prior to the beginning of my internship, my project was not ideally implemented. Even though the recruits weren't able to view the tutorials prior to the beginning of the recruit class, my mentor assured me that the knot tying video tutorials will be used not only by the recruits that are currently in the class as they prepare for their exams and practicals, but also by future recruit classes and current firefighters as they prepare for promotions. I concluded my internship with an evaluation survey. The survey inquired about the helpfulness of the tutorials, the length of the tutorials, the overall quality of the tutorials, and how likely the recruit would be to use the tutorials again. The results of the evaluation survey were favorable and proved that the training tutorials fulfilled their needs. Throughout this internship, I experienced many challenges, successes, and learned quite a few lessons. One of my biggest challenges was not being able to interact with the recruits. This was because I was not legally allowed on the training grounds during the recruit school hours. Also, I had a hard time following the timeline I presented in my contract. Some things took a longer time than what I had budgeted them for, like capturing the video demonstrations. I redid the videos several times due to lighting and noise issues. One of my biggest successes with the internship was that the training tutorials actually proved to be effective and meaningful. Another thing with which I found success was the ease of working in iMovie and putting the tutorials together. Overall, even though I felt defeated at times, I definitely surprised myself when my project finally came to fruition. This internship has not only improved my knowledge and skills with designing, developing, implementing, and evaluating a technology-based training project, but it also boosted my confidence in performing such skills.